In our last two sessions, I described how Erin Caffey had planned the murder of her own family in Emory, Texas last month. Homeschooled until just 6 weeks before the murders, she'd been raised in an isolated and controlled environment where she could not have felt unconditionally loved. When she went to school, she met 19-year-old Charlie Wilkinson, a gold mine of imitation love, but her father tried to break them up, and this is where we resume our story. By this time, Erin was insanely addicted, literally insanely, to the imitation love she was getting from Charlie, and she was willing to do whatever it took, literally anything, to prevent losing that incomparable feeling. To her, losing Charlie, losing the feeling of imitation love, would have felt like losing her life, without exaggeration. So, a month before the crime, she and Charlie began to plan the murders. A month. This crime was well premeditated. It was not a crime of sudden passion. Erin had to make a choice. She had no real love in her life, which is what we all want. Given the choice, that's what we'll all take if we can get it. But she didn't have that choice. So, look at the choices that she could see. On the one hand, she had the imitation love her parents offered. She could work her tail off, being obedient, being good, doing what they told her, going to church, getting good grades, and, the most unspeakable horror of all, she could give up the greatest pleasure she had ever found in life, which was her boyfriend. And if she did all that, her parents would give her what in return? They might give her the occasional nod of approval. They might tell her she was a good girl. They might smile at her. They might not yell at her. They might take her to church with them. They might love her conditionally. On the other hand, she had the imitation love Charlie offered. For this, she did not have to work, or be obedient, or get good grades, or read the Bible, or go to church. All she had to do was show up. She just had to look like a girl and be attractive. Hey, she could do that without any effort at all. And in return, he would smile like crazy when he saw her, and open his eyes all wide and breathe heavy when he touched her, and have sex with her, and buy her things, and take her on rides in his car, and talk about her to his friends, and want to spend time with her more than anybody else, and show off for her, and give her alcohol to drink, and on and on. Let's see. Which of those two piles of imitation love is bigger and looks more attractive? And which is easier to earn? Does anybody see why this wasn't a tough choice for little Erin? Now, this is not to excuse what she did to preserve the pile she chose. I'm not here to justify murder, obviously, but her insanity suddenly becomes much more understandable. So Erin Caffey experienced 16 years of love starvation with about 6 weeks of an imitation love feast. And now it's very likely that her life is essentially over. Death by imitation love. Erin was even warned about the dangers of her behavior by a friend, but she responded, "I know, I'm confused, but I like him." What a trade. In our next session, we'll talk about how most of us trade our own lives away in much the same way.